Hello, everybody. We are here in Table Hockey Global Podcast number 6. And today we have really awesome guest today, Hans Osterman. Hello.
Hello. Nice to be here.
Nice to be.
It's been such a long time since we met each other. When was it?
I don't remember actually. It was really a long time ago because I finished to play like properly in 2012.
Yeah.
So it had been 13 years. Yeah. And since then I have been like in few local tournaments. So
you still look the same as I said beforehand.
And you too. You too. And of course we have the rest of the gang. Nobody wanted to miss out this one. We have Janis Kalnevics, we have Kalnins, and Mikus Saulitis. Today we have loads of topics. We have actually some questions written down. We will want to not to ramble around and just stick on to the point. Guys, I will let you start with fire out with some questions. You had really interesting questions, and Mikus, you have the mic. You start.
Okay.
The question and
Which one?
Start it.
Yeah, I will start. World Championship is coming soon in Sweden. First time after 30 years. It's a long pause. Why Sweden didn't organize such a big tournament previously? Why it takes so long?
I would say, why would Sweden? Because if we did, maybe this podcast wouldn't be on. Maybe Latvia wouldn't be that big. Maybe the other countries wouldn't be coming. We did have the Euros in 2018 in Eskilstuna, also in the Stiga Arena, which was quite epic. But I think it's a good thing that we have waited 30 years, actually, for the sport to grow bigger. Because if I look back just 20 years ago in Riga here, I played the World Championship final against Roni Nuttinen, who's back now, by the way. And I mean, you were there maybe. And you might have remembered how everyone was cheering for the opponents to the Swedish players.
Because it was the first time when someone other from Sweden was competing in the final.
Well, 2003, Järvinen, I think. No, Tore Lee was in the semis. And 2001, Anssi Järvinen was in the semis. So it actually had started. But it was the first time that you had a non-Swede playing against the Swede in a final. And I guess you would never know what would have changed history. I think it's a good thing that Sweden hasn't had the World Championships for 30 years.
Yeah, because I checked the venues of the World Championships. It's been in totally different countries. Only in Russia, it was in Moscow and St. Petersburg, and that's it. There was a Budapest as well, Czech, Latvia, Estonia, Norway. It's a good that World Championships are in different countries.
Yeah, I totally agree.
And now the first time after 22 years it's going to be in Latvia, the World Championships. We had like 3 Europeans.
Next one.
Yeah, so next...
The latest news in ITHF as well.
Yeah. Exactly.
Valmiera, which was a European Championship last year, will be hosting World Championship next year.
And in a quite interesting sporting town, Valmiera, when I was there is actually this really famous Swedish sports journalist. He's a football nerd. He has gotten prizes in Sweden. His podcast has reached, you wouldn't believe how many viewers and how long episodes. That could be like 3.5 hours talking about Millwall or whatever. He wrote actually this piece just on Facebook. He didn't make a podcast about it, about Valmiera, because he was there telling us like a football nerd. Why would a Swedish football journalist just know about the Valmiera football team? But he did, and he was telling me about this field that they have, and the birches they are always that straight and at the sides. So I knew about Valmiera but I was a bit disappointed because he went there by this old train with the steam engines, and we went by car. So. That's good. I have one thing left. I have to stay in the game 2 more years.
All right, let's move on. Hans, you didn't play from 2018 until 2022. And why such a pause, and why did you come back?
I guess without the pauses, I wouldn't be here. I mean, life has its episodes, right? I mean, you're still young enough to care mostly about yourself and your table hockey progress, I can tell. Mm-hmm. But there will be other episodes coming up when you get older. And I think you need sometimes to, you have to feel that it's fun. you have to feel that you play table hockey because you really want to and not because you should, right?
Mm-hmm.
So if you lose that feeling, you should just make a break.
All right. As you said in your interview, you never quit table hockey. You just take breaks.
Yeah, and that goes for me at least. And obviously we have people who did really stop for real. If you saw those interviews, the first champion Mikael Kratz, who won in '99, it was quite striking how he didn't even remember the games. He didn't even remember. One of the questions were, okay, why didn't you defend your goal, the championship, afterwards? And he answered like, I'm sure I tried, but I don't remember where, and I don't remember when. So that's also a road you can go down, right? So.
But how was your coming back after those 4 years?
I didn't actually feel like I was gone. It didn't happen that much. Of course, obviously also COVID happened. So, I mean, everybody more or less had a break. So it was fun to be back.
In 2018, you were mentioning that you basically didn't have fun. Was that your case? Like you said, it needs to be fun. In 2018, it wasn't fun anymore for you? Or
it was also somehow, when you go to the tournaments, you should really go there because you want to and not because you feel you should. And somehow it felt that I should. And I don't know. I mean, it's hard to elaborate on feelings, right?
Yeah.
You either have it or you don't. And I guess I needed a break. And I guess also my kids needed a break because they were there, maybe a little too young to be thrown to the wolves of the table hockey world. And then Uno also got back. And I joined him in 2022, I guess. Yeah. And Niklas, Uno's good friend, Blomberg. So it's...
Blomberg,
yeah.
Okay.
Janis?
Yeah, I have like a bit similar experience like you, that I took quite a big break from table hockey. For me, the breaking point was that I felt that table hockey is a bit full at the time with some unsportsmanship-like behavior. That was something that I did not enjoy, so I took a break from it. And my question is related to this. Years ago, you have stated that you are against money coming into table hockey. Are your views changed, and what do you think about Table Hockey Global organizing a tournament with biggest prize pool in table hockey history?
Well, I haven't changed my mind generally, because being at the level we are now, if you suddenly put up that price, I've been there. I was in Moscow in 2007. They put up a small price. And it made Ronnie won. He got like 3,000 euro or something. Well, maybe it was a little plus for him totally with that trip, with those money. But it wasn't enough money to actually be a big deal for anyone. But it was still enough money for people to become unsportsmanlike. So that's my point. If you, let's say, you would have a general prize money level compared to only table tennis, darts, or whatever, well, no problem. But we're starting at 0, and if we suddenly put up those prize money, I'm quite sure it will only be risks with it. And I mean, I'm old. I don't play to earn that money. I play to earn the fun and to earn the honor or whatever, and I play to fucking beat you or have my ass kicked by you, and it still be fun both ways, huh? I don't play to get rich. I do have a work. So I guess I'm too old to,
Would you say that this type of tournaments can maybe attract new players? Like actually at this point because for this tournament, one of the big things what I was focusing on is to have the players who are the pros and splitting the bigger pot. But then we have the newer players who are just beginning last year and now are able to fight for these prize monies, which are just beginning of their careers. And what do you think maybe about that one? Because it's a bit different. For the old fish, we're gonna be like scratching every point what we can, of course. And there are many things what I have thought through that, for example, in each playoff games, for example, there will need to be separate referees, and even for this type of tournament, maybe there will be new rules. because the time wasting with the puck and these type of things need to be penalized. But what do you think about the newer players and having opportunity for them to win some money? It's not going to be groundbreaking, but it might even attract some international players.
And that's an excellent idea, I think, because then you're talking about something else. If you put up 100,000 euro for the World Championships in Umeå, Reiners would still want to win just as much because he loves table hockey and he's not winning for the money. Yeah. But if you have like we have in Sweden, the rookie Swedish championships, for anyone who makes his first championship tournament, put up the money there. That's excellent. Then you'll attract new people. And I mean, the guys here, we're already in the bubble. We're there. We don't need that money.
Oh yeah. Sorry, Yanni?
Yeah, I had a bit of a thought about this, and I believe that table hockey, with money coming in, is going just through like a normal stage of professional sports. As money is coming in all the sports, and there have been difficult times to watch football as Italian Catenaccio, just playing from the defense, just do everything for the win. It's not nice to see.
They still do that. The Italians are still playing on defense.
They're playing from defense, but not as Catenaccio style as it was.
Yeah.
But yeah, one thing that I wanted to mention is that the greatest tournament that I have participated is the one that I was paid to go. It was in Mytische Atlanta Arena in Russia, and it was just crazy good tournament. All the best players, I believe, almost all of top 30 was there. So maybe money spent to invite some players would be actually better use of the money as going into the prize money. What do you think about this?
Yeah, I totally agree. I mean, we have this discussion in Sweden that, do we get funded from someone? Where to put that money? And I always say, no, never put the funds into the national jerseys. People can pay for them themselves, especially the ones, Truls, calling you out, who changes 2 or 3 with men and women every championships. Anyway, if you have funding, the money should benefit everyone within the movement. That's my general view. And I mean, I also hear what you're saying. I mean, if money would come into table hockey with a consistent flow, increasing year by year, and we would know that we're on the right track, this would not just be a one-shot, there would be benefits, of course. But if you just start with this, one-shot tournament with the big money, there is always a risk for a backlash as well. And if you compare to football, especially football in Sweden, there is a reason why Swedish fans are admired. There's a reason that, it feels authentic still in Sweden. I don't know if you know, but in Sweden there's a big anti-VAR movement within the supporter community.
Really?
Yeah, it is. I mean, Sweden is still the only league in Europe where we don't have VAR and where the general Swedish supporter doesn't want it. Because and I guess that goes for the general community as well somehow. I mean, it's 2025. What are we actually chasing in our daily lives, in society, in trends? We're chasing the authenticity of life, of stuff. And table hockey is really authentic, and I think we should really value that. It's authentic, and we should keep it that way.
That's true. I agree on the point where at this point it is really hobby, and we're playing for honor. That's what it is. We're basically going to every tournament by our own money, but I think the point where there is some prize pools, and of course this one is the biggest one, and hopefully we're gonna have a great success, and for sure we're gonna have some failures, for sure. And after this tournament, there's gonna be so many things to just bring on the table and talk about internationally and inside how we're gonna organize that. That was a disaster, but I think from there on it needs to be some just other things than only honor. I think that will bring older players who are like quitted and they want to come back, and we have like what I want to say is when I'm looking at top 100, the discrepancy from the first player until the 100th player is really it's quite big. It's quite big skill gap in there in between, and it should be a little bit pushed closer, because I was telling you, Rainers, about the joke. Like, I would like to have in like I would say 5 years, but maybe in 10 years, that he needs to qualify to get in this type of tournament. He needs to fight for it, because there is an internationally so big community then grown that it's not so easy to get in there, and it's not so easy to be a part of the national team or international. So,
I mean, I don't disagree that would be a great place if we were there. I mean, if you were able to actually live on playing table hockey, that's what you do for a living. But you know, we're not there. We're still at the point where we have to put up, you know, like a one-shot money tournament, like you're planning. And then I don't say you shouldn't, but I think you should, you know, be careful. How do you plan it? What's the potential risks with it? How do we make it still authentic?
Yeah.
So
going from there, next question is, how in Sweden there is not so many young players coming in into table hockey. At this point, Latvia have grown in many ways to do so. Sweden is not the only one. In many cases, there are. Can I give a template? There are less and less even tournaments, and this was brought up today, and I will put it on the screen as well. This is 2016-17 tournaments, and these ones are from this year. And we have like less and less tournaments coming in internationally. We have less players internationally coming in. What do you think, how this could be changed, or how do you see the future of that? There are many people who would love to play tournaments, but there's no access. You have thought for many things about many things, and maybe you have like some idea how to navigate that towards better side?
I think it's hard. I mean, Latvia is the outstanding example of how you can actually make table hockey something accessible into a young person's everyday life. And I think you're quite unique there with the funding from the authorities, with the culture of youth clubs like Laimit or whatever. With the in Swedish we say it must be possible to actually attend the sport, and the Swedish word is man kan gå på bordshockey. You can just gå på fotboll. That there is a possibility to actually every week play table hockey in a place where you would normally be, and Laimit is one example of that. And I guess Latvia, the stars are in the right position in this country or something. It's the perfect and unique example, and you should just, you know, value it and cherish it and be really careful how to continue to develop it. But I don't think that would be possible in Sweden. Not the way. I mean, we have trouble. We would have trouble getting those funds. We have about the same. There is a youth club in South Stockholm where we play our local league, and we provide them with games. And we say that if you want, we can come or do exhibition. But if you want table hockey to be a part of the daily life for your young visitors, that part must be up to you, because it's only you that could bring it up. And I mean, Edgar's wrote about that in his book. What's her name again in Laimit? There needs to be one man or woman who actually thinks that my kids, my visitors, must be able to attend table hockey. And I mean, just, you know, that's hard. And there is also, as we talked about, Rainers, in the car, you were nice enough to pick me up before this broadcast. There is also like an evolutional phases of every table hockey community. In Sweden, we started in the 80s. We're like, what is it now? I can't count. 40 years into it, more or less. And I mean, we do have people who organize, but the phase where you have people who mainly consider themselves as organizers instead of players. Shout out to Papa Sandis and others. We're not there in Sweden, because we have reached the level where everyone sees themselves as a player. and the fanatics, the people who built the movement, they're somehow out. And as I said again, trying to reconnect to an earlier answer, it should never be about what you think you have to do. It must always be about what you want to do. And if we don't have, like in Estonia, we do no longer have Igor Savelyev as an, engaged organizer. He doesn't want it anymore. Well, we can't force him, because if we start to, force people, or we appeal to their, guilt or whatever feelings, it's gotta have to start with the joy, with the pleasure. So I think we have to just accept that there are different cultures, and of course there are, could do a top 10 list of things that could or should be done to
Then give me top 2.
Top 2.
Top
okay.
2 from top of your head now.
Okay, from the top of my head. Okay, let's say that somebody, if that's Stiga, or if that would be me, suddenly having that time or energy, or whoever in Sweden, say that we are going to have every 2 months in 25 Swedish schools, we're going to have a table hockey championship. And they're going to play in a big final in a Avicii Globe Arena or whatever. Going to be huge. But the people who would need to do that already has other jobs, like you guys. And that's the point.
But still, we are coming back to the money issue. As in Estonia, I have heard that the ruling party is not there to finance table hockey in Estonia. I heard it from one of the organizers, and they were afraid that table hockey is going to die in Estonia because of this. So in some kind of matter, money is important in table hockey, I believe.
Yeah. And we do need the financiers. I mean, maybe you both remember Yevgen Yukhnitsa of Ukraine.
Yeah, I remember. Yeah.
Yeah. And I mean, the current situation in Europe, starting in February 2022, that's also, of course, a big disadvantage solely for the development of our sport. I mean, the 2 best countries at the moment were suddenly out. One banned, and one, sadly enough, not possible to keep their movement going. Also, money-wise, that was a disadvantage, of course. But what would the alternative be? The thing that's going on is going on. And I think it's handled the only way it could be handled. So I think we just have to, there is this saying, is the glass half full or half empty? And I think if we agree on trying to see or view the glass as half full, it's a start. Trying to stay positive, trying to cherish the people who do what they do. Okay, I'm going to give you a heads up now, the interview with Atis Silis coming up before the World Championships. He says something there, which could also be my answer. A lot of things must be done. A lot of things could and should be done to develop table hockey internationally and nationally in every country. But thank you so much, Bjarne, for keeping things going as they are, because that's obviously also so important. And there was a shout out to Bjarne Axelsen and the other, not to forget any names, who actually keeps the things going, so that we have at least those few tournaments you showed on the left side of that iPad.
Yeah.
So that's the half full glass, right?
Yeah, exactly. Now, of course, that at this point we're looking at the tournament. Of course, it's shrinking the amounts of tournament, but there's many passionate people. Basically, there is passion behind it.
Yeah, coming back to Sweden, I remember 2000, 1989 or something like that. It was Swedish Masters with 400 players. Was it there, or at least 300?
Yeah, no.
I heard something about that.
This rarely happens that I get to say I don't know because I wasn't there.
You wasn't there.
I'm too young. Write down the date. I'm too young, guys.
Because in Sweden, table hockey is in each home, I heard.
Yeah.
Almost in each.
And as for
that was actually one of the questions I wanted to ask. Like I had people in the comments saying that every third or fifth house have the table at home.
Yeah, it's like a common Christmas gift in Sweden and Finland. Oh. You do play table hockey at Christmas, like some kind of a tradition. And I guess Finland also had that. They had, before Stiga, they had Pula, a game.
Their own, right?
Yeah, and the first actual Swedish championships of table hockey in 1982 wasn't even played on Stiga. That was on the Pula game. So Göran Agder has never been the Swedish champion on Stiga. Yeah, so... But back to that, I'm too young. I can only refer to what I heard. But the first Swedish championships in the 80s were actually arranged by the premature Swedish floorball movement.
By the teams.
No, there weren't really teams, I think, but there was this guy, Andras Citrom, who was starting the floorball movement in Sweden, and he thought that, okay, if we put up a Swedish championship of table hockey, we might attract people to the floorball thing. But what he did then was to start a new sport, because it turned out that people wanted to play table hockey for themselves. So we're here thanks to Andras Citrom, rest in peace, and the floorball movement. And there were like 600, I think, on the first Swedish championships, and more and there were more wanting to play. And that's also evolution again. If you have a community like Sweden, where somebody thinks, oh, I'm unbeatable at table hockey, I always beat my friends at table hockey, I've never lost a table hockey game. And then you put up a Swedish championship, you will have a couple of hundred people coming there thinking that I'm going to win this.
But could it be possible in those days?
Yeah, it could be, I think. But it's, again, you would need the infrastructure, the people organizing it, and maybe also another player, another, part than just ordinary people. It could be a company funding it, or wanting to do it. Could be Stiga, could be someone else, could be a floorball society again. I don't know.
Is Stiga enough participating in all of this? In what you say, like from the other side, because I'm most probably not enough an educator on this one. How much Stiga is actually coming into this sport, because we're playing on their games. We're being a part of a big community, like, as you said, almost everybody have at home in Sweden and Finland. It would just make sense for them to double down a little bit in there, or it's just too big of a company to actually care about table hockey.
I think again there that we have to regard the glass as half full. Because if Stiga didn't manufacture the table hockey game, just think the thought that they suddenly stopped to do it. We're out of business. You have to find something new to do. You probably start to play darts or whatever. So the glass is half full. Stiga is still producing the games. And just like Atis is grateful, and we all are, to Bjarne for keeping things running internationally of ITHF and the other guys, we should be thankful for Stiga for doing what they do. Of course we could, have a list of 10 things that we would like them to do to benefit our sport. And I guess, we have to keep that contact. We have to stay attractive as a sport or potential growth sport. And I think the key could be for Stiga to start, or other financial players potentially, to start regarding table hockey as a sport and not as a toy and some kind of a replica of an ice hockey rink. And we're here in your studio. You're not saying to your viewers that this is ice hockey in the plastic version.
Never.
No, I'm not.
Yeah.
No,
You're not. You're not. And you're telling them that this is a sport, this is spjas, this is kokos or banana or whatever fruits you're eating here in Latvia. But it's a sport, and that's the main point, right?
Yeah, no, of course. And there's very different opinions, and still in Latvia where we're talking about, and I'm actually now, like, my aim is to transition from my day-to-day job until the end of the year, just to be able to do this and do more and try to attract more younger players and coach them and so on. And I have conversations because I'm working in cinema now, and I'm having conversations day to day with some people who I met on the street. I haven't met them for half a year, and I was like, "Oh, what do you do?" I was like, "I'm still working in cinema, but I'm trying to pivot to table hockey, table tennis? No, table hockey." and they were actually surprised, and I was like, "Yeah, I'm playing 19 years. The fuck?" It's like, what do you do? Like, I have been playing a national team. National? Do you have championships in there? And of course, like this is very new to public. And that's one of the things why I try to do with all the information I'm putting out just to reach the people, because they're like, I was actually surprised that so many people who haven't played in tournaments before, they're like actually like, oh, this is nice. There's something that you can have the combinations and so forth. And when I was having meetings with some municipalities or some companies, I'm going into their office, and I see table hockey in the center of their break room. And I'm like asking, do you play? It's like, yeah, I'm the champion of the office. I'm like, oh, nice. How many are you playing? Like 7 or 8 people. And they were like grown-ass men and women. And I was thinking, like, interesting how to reach those people to come and be a part. Like in US, there are older men and women playing table hockey, and not Stiga and different ones and Soho and so on. So and they're just doing for fun, and they're not going to be the ones who are going to be fighting for those 20K tournaments and so on. But they're the ones who are bringing the community and building the enthusiasm behind it. Yeah, I'm really interested in how to bring those people and younger guys in, because all of us, I think we were talking in previous episodes, that our character was built through this game.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and Atis also said that when he... I'm spoiling all the interviews now. Sorry, Atis, but...
When it will be.
Yeah, but he said that one of his main points were that when he won his gold in Stavanger in 2013, he learned how to develop and how to win, and he got a boost in his general life from his ability to win a table hockey game. And I guess that goes for all of us. What we bring to the table, we also bring from it. But, I mean, to reconnect to what you were saying, I think you're pointing out one of the unique selling points of table hockey. It's a game that, at least in Sweden, Finland, soon even Latvia, people know about it. They've seen it. They know it exists. Just like table tennis, which Stiga is a big player in. But the thing is that the general public, they know about Wang Shukin. They know about Truls Møregård in Sweden. I don't know if you have a ping pong player in Latvia, but you probably do.
He's the bronze medalist in all Olympic Games. Oh, silver medalist?
Yeah, Truls, yeah.
Silver medalist.
Silver, yeah. But the thing is, when we go out and do exhibitions, like I did a couple of weeks ago in Sweden, central Stockholm, during the Ice Hockey World Championships, there are still people coming. They know about table hockey, but they've never seen anyone to be good at it. And that's our selling point. This, oh my God, look at that. And that's what we can give them. If they would have a ping pong player there making the difficult serves and the blah, blah, blah. I've seen that on TV already. So, again, the glass is half full. It's up to us to fill up the rest.
Very true. Very wise. Guys, you have more questions?
Yeah, sure. Possibly there might be some people that do not know that you're the only 3-time world champion. So the question is, what's like the highlight of your career? What could it be? Just one.
One highlight.
Yeah, the best one.
It's so hard because I've been playing in so many eras.
Mm-hmm. Every era.
And it's hard for me to point out one highlight. It really is. I think the highlight would be in itself for me to be here with you guys today in the year of 2025, still being in the game, still coming up on a World Championships in a couple of weeks, still thinking that, well, maybe not win, but on a good day, I might be top whatever. And still being a little pissed off if I don't. That's
good.
That's the highlight.
Very good.
That's the highlight.
All right. Very deep. Good answer.
Additional question from my side. Which was your, I don't know how to say, favorite champion title? First, second, or third?
I mean, it's always, there is no such time as the first time, right? And I said this in the interview as well. I mean, when I won in 97, that was the first actual tournament I really won, except for some junior championships in Sweden. And maybe the surprising thing wasn't that it finally happened, but that it took so long. But in that era, it was all about beating Jakob Lindahl, the god of table hockey. And it felt unreal, but also logical because I was ready, just like you will be ready someday.
Let's see.
And but I still think, you know, there is no such thing as developing. I'm still here because I think it's fun to develop. I think it's still fun to, you know, the prospect of there are of course things that can be done on a table hockey game that we haven't, you know, found out yet. And what if I, I hit my head and look at that.
Yeah, actually, you, Edgar's, everyone is getting older, but I think the both of you are getting also better. So time goes by, and you're still at your peak. You and Edgar's and everyone else, the old players, the level don't really drop. The top guys, the old guys, they get better.
Some things drop, of course. I mean, in the terms of, you know, stamina, reactions, personal stuff that you can't stop. I mean,
but the high IQ and understanding of the game, it's very high.
But I think it's a curiousness. I'm not done mentally or philosophically in, you know, what actually can be done there. Is there a new Russian pass that Oleg came up with in Game 4 against Nuttinen in the World Cup final in Turku that changed everything?
Yep.
Is there still such a thing that we haven't developed? Of course there is. And that's why I'm still here. And to answer your question, that's why the last one in 2005 in Riga against Roni, because it was more developed then. I had to bring up new things to win. And Roni had come up. And I mean, yeah, you just keep going. It will, you know, stay in the game.
Janis, do you have one more question?
In table hockey there is some I would say rivalries between clubs like it is with us and Laimīte. I wanted to ask, don't know actually how it is, but is there any rivalries like nationwide between maybe Swedish and Finns or maybe other nation as it was for us with Russians, and maybe now it's transitioning to Ukrainians as Russians is not here. The principal, I would not say enemy, but opponent always is there. That is just really satisfying to win against. Are there Finns as neighbors or other country?
I think if you would ask the Finns, for obvious reasons, they would say that Sweden is the enemy, and there is no such thing for a Finn to beat Sweden in any sport. And that has its historical reasons. It's not, surprising.
I had so many comments before the World Championship of World Ice Hockey.
Yeah.
Like people just like, oh, the Finns gonna destroy Sweden, and there was no Sweden. People are like, oh, we're gonna destroy Finland. They're like, all right, try.
and I guess that's how we feel about it. And table hockey being such a nice and such an integrated community, I mean, that's also maybe one of the problems nowadays. If let's say we will play the World Championship, whatever level in the playoffs, I would love to hate you. Yeah. So please be a little less nice. Yeah. You understand what I mean? I mean, we're a community. I like the guys, all of them. And especially Roni coming back now. It's a huge thing for our sport. But then, as I say to younger players back home, there's a difference and you have to learn it. You have to hate the player and love the person. And that's hard.
That's good.
Because if you love the person, which we more or less do with everyone, don't we?
I hate Raivis as a player. I love him as a person.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But then, I mean, you have to... It's hard to really hate the player, but I guess I guess that has been something that I have been able to do for 30 years or whatever it is, to actually hate the player in that situation, although I love the person.
But this has always been the case that our principal opponent always have been Russians, and on the table hockey field on the table there is no love, there is no friendly relationships. We are going for a result, but after the gong we are just friends, actually with Russians, with all of them. So this is interesting, and some rivalries are good, I believe, and maybe there should be more. That's my opinion.
And I mean, let's say, I don't know, if Estonia was just as good as Latvia, would there be a bigger rivalry between you guys?
Oh, huge, insane.
Yeah.
Latvia in Lithuania in basketball.
Yeah. But I believe that the historical grudge against Russians are fueling this.
That's different. That's historical and political and so on and so forth. But like if we're talking about like actual neighboring countries, which were in good terms in every day, but on the table, if they would be like in the same level as us, oh, it's gonna be insane.
Yeah, if Estonia and Lithuania would be on the level with the Russians, maybe we would prioritize our rivalries against Baltic states, not the Russians.
Yeah. I think it's more satisfying to beat neighbors.
We don't care if Finns are winning the championships as Swedes are like lower place, right?
And I remember those days, and it's natural that, of course, as I said 20 years ago, everybody was cheering for anyone who wasn't Swedish. So, I mean, as a Swede and as a table hockey player, I'm of course very happy that the tables turned, that other countries came up, and that somehow, I mean, at our worst, I think we were... Was it like we were on 5th, 6th or 7th place?
Something like that, I remember.
Yeah, in a bad day. And you could cry about that, of course, but it's also a sign of this sport being something else than a Swedish sport. So, yeah, the glass is half full there too, right?
But do you have time, Karlis?
Yeah, let's hit one more.
We can use this time. You basically saw the Latvia starting playing table hockey. What was your thoughts about Latvia coming into this sport, and how did you saw this development of Latvia from your point of view?
But because let's remind, Hans is so old that he have seen Latvia start to play this game.
No, it was.
I'm trying to remember. Well, I do remember one Riga Cup. It must have been 20 plus years ago.
2002, something like that. Like 2005 was a World Championship.
It was before that.
But it was
before that. Maybe we can look up that in the world ranking, but 2003, 2004 maybe. I was coming to Riga Cup for the first time of my life, and my picture of the Latvian guys so far, it was like Ilgvars with his hat, happy people, screaming people, oh, good atmosphere. And then... Oh, what was his name?
Didis was orange.
No. Sprush, I think.
Yevgenis.
I think he picked me up in the airport, and I arrived the same day, somehow waking up at 3 in the morning in Sweden to get that flight. And then I came to the venue. Maybe I slept 1 hour, tops. And the first person I saw when I was supposed to play my first game was this blonde, screaming, very high energy kid. Yeah, that's Atis. So, I mean, it was a blast. Coming to a new country, seeing the development. It was, what's his name? I forget it. Your founding father, the Blumenthal's. Yeah. And I also remember, that's one of my first impressions of Latvian table hockey. I don't know I have to say it as it is. It was in Zurich in 2003, I think.
Yeah. World Championship.
Yeah.
First World
or
Championship.
Maybe it was in Pilsen, actually, before in 2001, when Romans applied for the World Championships in Latvia for 2003 already. And people were thinking, oh, can you really organize that? I'm not sure, blah, blah, blah. And then he felt that his arguments were going empty. He tried to build his case, very, strict and formal, blah, blah, blah. We have this money, those plans. Then he suddenly just lost it in the end when he felt that, maybe this is out of my hands. So he stood up and he said, and guys, in Latvia, we have very nice girls with very nice legs. Well, you didn't get it 2 years later, but you did 4 years later. So, I mean, yeah, Romans and his talk that, maybe wouldn't be heard today on an international meeting to decide the next organizer of the World Championships. Or I don't know, you're there in the process. I don't know the arguments for Valmiera in 2027. You do.
What's the argument?
The arguments?
Yeah, for Malmö.
There's a bunch of different arguments from Malmö. Well,
about the women's and
of course, yeah, about the women, yeah.
It's a different era, but
Yeah.
I mean,
It is
it
different
was
era.
it was obvious from the beginning that Latvia was for real,
Yeah.
and I couldn't be more happy about it. That the sport is growing, and you're the prime example now of what table hockey could be, and you should be proud, and you should, value it and cherish it.
I remember that 2003 or 2004 Riga Cup was the time when players still had to fill their own paper sheets, and then everything was collected and counted manually, the points. And I heard rumors that why did we give this to Riga, to Latvia, to organize World Championships? This shouldn't be like that.
And then internet happened.
And yeah.
Yeah.
This is big savior. I want to close it down with the last question, focusing more or less on the game by itself. What do you like? You have seen so much of the table hockey, how it involves and so many new combinations and so many new tactics. What is the biggest thing you hate about this game now? Is it one move? Don't tell me player name. That would be funny, but inappropriate. But like, what do you don't like about this game? What is making you crazy?
I'm quite a pragmatic person. I do like, people to bending the rules, testing the limits. It's all about winning. What we do in all our daily lives is all about winning. We have to be number one, and we need someone else to be number two in order to develop. So I don't mind, like Jakob Lindahl does, as you read in their interview. He says that, and he might have a point if you compare the way people defend today with how they defended in his prime, that, it's harder to score the shovels and centrifuges, the cocos, banana, and the other fruits, because the game is probably shaking today compared to the passive way of defense 25, 30 years ago. And he has a point, maybe, that's why center moves and the defender shots are more accurate today. I don't mind. I think it's good that we test the limits, that we find our ways, and I think we haven't found all the ways yet. So I don't hate anything. I would hate it if we stopped to develop. But okay, one detail that we haven't figured out yet. That's the face-offs.
Yeah.
If some way the hardware could make the face-offs for us. Just imagine.
I know that in USA or in Canada they made this like stick that comes up in the center, and the puck rolls and drops.
I mean, you could just, if you watch there behind you, Reiners, you can imagine some kind of a bow coming on into the middle circle, and just put the puck there. Are you ready? Okay, I'm ready. I don't know. Yeah.
All right.
But then, and that's the problem, it wouldn't be a replica of an ice hockey game. It would be something built solely for table hockey, the sport. So shout out to Stiga, build a ramp. Okay.
Hans, one more question about this. You're told that in Sweden there is no VAR, as it could take part of the game away from it. Don't you believe that this puck throwing in by human hand, it's not kind of in the same field, that maybe this is what makes this game so lovable, and there is not so much technical things.
Yeah, you forced me to pick something I hate. It's not really that big of a problem, but it's actually, I mean, it's one of the few things that you could think of that we could develop. And I mean, obviously there is a gray scale of face-offs, especially when it gets tight, and you would see that. You actually lost from it in the Swedish Masters, by the way, when you were asking for a neutral face-off.
Oh,
yeah, you did. If you watch it afterwards, you'll see that after that I took over the game. So.
Yeah, it's difficult to win face-offs against Reiners. It's seemingly fair throw-in, but he's just getting out of the.
But I think, I mean, to just go back there, we're competitors, all of us, aren't we? And it's amazing that something so, I mean, there would be a way to cheat. And I think it's very rare that people actually do it. We are sportsmanlike. I don't know. You come back after so many years. Do you think that are people overusing the face-offs to their own advantage, or if you look at the big data sets, is it still kind of fair?
I would say, for now, on the stakes what we have now, it's just part of the game. It needs to have like a small edge because I'm using it like that, and you need to have like a small plays what you can do, and it's like kind of cheating, but like, is the opponent going to call you on that one? So as you told, like, you need to have the charisma of the game stay somewhere, but the big question will be when there will be high stakes, when there will be game 7, overtime, final, and we're actually talking about real money. So how your hand will drop that puck in there, that's a different question.
Or what will you do? You have played 2 games. Reiners is leading 2-0. His center is super. And now he's going to have my center. And just before we switch the sides, just accidentally. That has happened before. I'm not going to call out any names. Yeah. But I mean, there would be so many ways that you could cheat in table hockey. And that's just my point. If you increase the stakes, you would also increase the risks.
Sure.
People being people.
Yeah.
So.
But at this point, as the top players have been that much time around, I believe they will be the ones who will compete for this money. I don't think that their character will shift that significantly. Maybe with younger players that are coming in the top, maybe it would be the case, but I don't believe that you're gonna cheat, that Ronnie is gonna cheat, or other top players. At least for now, I think we're safe.
Okay, let's just shake things up. Let's say that we have a rookie world championship, a world championship of table hockey, and the only ones allowed to compete are people that has never done it before and that are not on the world ranking. That's the baseline. You put up the money, you start country by country to have like 10 people representing their country, and then you'll do this in Vegas or wherever, Riga. You would reach out, and they would really go for the money. You would too, but you would go for it anyway, for the real world championships. So yeah, I think money could be good, just not for us. We will win. We'll try to win anyway.
Yeah,
that's for sure. You're gonna be, and you all also gonna be. I'm gonna be as well on Sunday. All right, I think we are quite a bit in already, more than 15 minutes today.
Nice.
Yeah, Hans, thank you very much.
Thank you for having me. It was such a pleasure.
Yeah, it was
having you guys here.
It was really fun. We're gonna now play some games. We're gonna have some live, and we have tradition if somebody gets until here, they need to write in the comments the word, and you need to name a word. What the viewers need to comment.
Make it Swedish.
I can suggestion.
Just a random word.
Yeah.
Anything you like?
It must be about table hockey.
No, of course.
Of course not.
Of course, as you like.
This is so deep. Okay, repeat the question. What do you want?
So take the mic, and you need to say the words for the viewers who have gotten until here in the podcast, so they can write in the comments the words, just as a part of appreciation that they have been in here.
Yeah, if you're already here, big hand. But this is for everyone. When your glass is half full, what's in it?
Nice. Thank you very much. This was Table Hockey Global Podcast number 6, and see you in the next time. Bye.
Ciao. Ciao.